Guess what they low-key tried to make a Christmas movie? You guessed it, the title of the video. Gremlins. It's a Christmas movie, but it's a different kind of Christmas movie. It's not one that really gives you a moral.
You gotta watch out for the foreigners because they plant gremlins in their machinery.
It's not one that really makes you feel the holiday.
Especially around the holidays.
Why is that?
That's when a lot of people get really depressed.
That's funny, you know, because I always thought everyone was happy during, no matter what.
Well, most people are, but some aren't. While everybody else is opening up their presents, they're opening up their wrists.
I can't really say what kind of Christmas movie this is. Your guess is as good as mine. Our story begins in a gritty Chinese neighborhood that we later find out is Chinatown, where he's going down into some shady basement.
Hey, wait a minute. What's down here?
This is it.
This is your grandfather's store?
Come on.
No wonder you gotta drag people in off the street.
He then looks around the shop for a while at the oddities, seeing what they are. Starts explaining to him that he's a traveling salesman and tries to sell him something.
There's one thing you don't have. The bathroom buddy. It's the invention of the century, friend. You take your toothbrush out, and you push this button.
I've come to the personal conclusion that the father and son in this movie just have bad luck for whatever reason. So after failing at his sales pitch and hearing some noise in the background, he stumbles over to a crate that has a creature inside of it.
What is that?
Mogwai.
That he then tries to negotiate a purchase,
Tell you what I'll do. I'll give you $100 for it.
but is immediately shot down.
Mogwai not for sale. With Mogwai comes much responsibility. I cannot sell him at any price.
Well, I guess this video was shorter than I thought because he can't get the Mogwai, so end of movie, right? Well, wrong, because the kid sells him the Mogwai right under his grandfather's nose, even though it seemed like it was like priceless to dude.
Wait outside a moment. I'll be right out.
So without hesitation, the son goes out back and sells the Mogwai, claims that his grandfather's crazy and they needed the money.
Look, mister, there's 3 rules you've got to follow. Keep him out of the light. Keep him away from water. But the most important rule, no matter how much he cries, no matter how much he begs, never feed him after midnight.
So we were given a set of 3 simple rules to follow. Stay out of the light, don't get him wet, don't feed him after midnight. And if you could just follow those 3 simple rules, you can own your very own Mogwai. We introduce our main character, Billy Peltzer, played by Zach Gilligan, who's starting off the movie with his bad luck streak trying to get the car started. We also meet Mr. Futterman, played by Dick Miller.
Hey, Billy, what's the matter? You need a jump?
Oh, no thanks, Mr. Futterman. I'm pretty much late for work as it is.
Not having a car, he had to run to work, but not before he passed right by a product placement that helped pay for the movie, because, you know, at BK, you gotta have it your way. We find out that he works at a bank in town, the only bank that allows you to bring dogs in, apparently. And we get to meet the love interest of the movie, Kate. With a petition in hand to try to stop the craziest lady in town from taking someone else's property, Mrs. Deagle.
We're trying to have Dory's pub declared a landmark. Mrs. Deagle's trying to take his lease away.
Now, Mrs. Deagle, she's a Scrooge McBitch. Now, I'm sure they were going for a Scrooge vibe, but they landed on bitch.
Good morning, Mrs. Deagle.
What's good about it? Watch it, watch it, watch it.
Mrs. Deagle?
What?
I'm afraid that neither one of us will be paid for 2 weeks.
Mrs. Harris, the bank and I have the same purpose in life, to make money.
Yeah, I see what the fuck I'm talking about. She then barges into the bank, goes straight to the front of the line so that she can talk to Billy, so that she can explain to him his dog had destroyed her snowman. Billy offers her money, but she says money is not what she wants. She wants blood.
Give him to me. I'll take him to the kennel. They'll put him to sleep. It'll be quick and painless compared to what I could do to him.
So now this lady's just straight up talking about murdering dogs like it's Tuesday.
Maybe I'll put him in my spin dryer on high heat.
So of course Buddy the dog, he's tired of this. She talking madcap. He starts attacking her. She starts wailing, screaming, talking about some her heart can't take it.
Oh, I have a very weak heart. I can't stand a shot like that.
I'll get you when you least expect it.
So from what must have been a long walk home, we get to meet the mom character. After telling her the events of the day and leaving out the murderous intent of Mrs. Deagle, the dad comes home and we get to see the present that the dad had the time to wrap and put a bow on. And our main character, Billy, he decides to give the package a little shake because he's not sure what it is.
We're gonna have to open it now. It won't wait till Christmas.
It's a puppy, isn't it?
See, my whole thing is, did he think it was a puppy before or after he shook that box? How many puppies do you gotta shake in boxes before you can just kind of tell? We open up the box to reveal the monster inside. That's what Mogwai means monster or evil spirit in Cantonese. He tells him what it's called and declares that he's been calling him Gizmo. He explains the rules to him, and Gizmo and our main character form a bond. Hey look, our hats match. After a small incident in the middle of the night, we go to bed and head to the next morning, where Billy's trying to use one of Dad's inventions to make some orange juice. Now I'm not sure if it's Billy or the machines, but there's always this bad luck factor. So then we meet Corey Feldman's character. Yeah, Corey Feldman's in this movie. I didn't even remember that. And honestly, fuck him in this movie because he's just an asshole. Everything he does is just annoying. Everything he says just pisses me off.
You know, you should just buy orange juice in cartons. It's a lot easier.
We then head upstairs where we find Gizmo chilling, maxing and relaxing, watching some TV, taking it all in. Finding Gizmo in the room, Billy proceeds to tell Corey Feldman's character that it's a Mogwai and he got it from his father as a Christmas gift.
Name's Gizmo. Giz?
He immediately asks if he can get one, to which he replies he doesn't think so. Asking to hold it for only a second, he never even got to touch him before he spilled an entire cup of water on his back.
Nothing, just water.
Gizmo's back starts bulging and convulsing until little puffy fur balls start popping off of his back, with the first one starting to grow before several more started popping out. Those fur balls would eventually grow into more little Mogwai.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new ones. Now can I have one?
Not after what you just did. I don't know what pisses me off more, the fact that you spilled water on them or the fact that now you want one of my new pets, because they're all mine. They're all mine. I don't care if they're a burden. They're all mine.
Hey, look, that one's got a cute little stripe on its head.
Even if I had never seen this movie, I would know to watch out for that one, because that one different.
Isn't that incredible, Pete?
Yeah, right.
No, I mean, don't you think this is incredible?
Oh, he is neat. I'm serious. It's neat.
So you can see why I didn't bother to learn this character's name, right? So after the Mogwai multiply, Billy goes to his father, who's working on another failed project. And Billy tries to come and explain the situation to him. But not before we get more bad luck or bad inventions, whatever one it's supposed to be.
Sorry, Dad.
So Billy explains to his father that the Mogwai multiply with water. And his father has the genius idea of trying to sell the Mogwai. Like everybody in America would want a Mogwai in their house. They might even replace the family pet. So Billy's walking in the middle of the night with sounds of his dog. He goes downstairs to find him strapped to Christmas lights hanging from the house.
Barney, who did this to you?
Now, the movie would lead you to believe that little Mogwai wind up doing this to him because they're acting a little shady, but I still think it's Mrs. Deagle.
I'll get you when you least expect it.
Prime suspect.
Mom, she's been threatening him for weeks. You know she'd love to get her hands on him.
So he decides he's going to take Gizmo to the science teacher at his school to see if he could figure out anything about it that could give them a little bit more answers.
And all of a sudden, there were 5 new ones.
Dude doesn't really believe the story that he's telling him. Almost immediately pours more water on Gizmo just to prove a point.
Now watch this.
I keep one of these here. Run some tests on them.
So after leaving one of the Mogwai with the science teacher, he heads for a stroll home, but he stops at the bar because he sees Mr. Futterman talking to his love interest. Mr. Futterman's fairly hammered and wants to drive his tractor home, but luckily we don't let that go down because we don't drink and drive around here. But not before Mr. Futterman tells them an eerie little story about a thing called Gremlins.
You gotta watch out for the foreigners because they plant gremlins in their machinery. It's the same gremlins brought down our planes in the big one.
Big.
That's right. World War II.
So this man is suggesting that you should be very cautious of foreign parts because they might contain gremlins. Even his watch contained gremlins. I want to say he's completely crazy, but are there not Mogwai in the world?
You know, they're still shipping them over here. They put them in the cars, they put them in the TV, they put them in the stereos and the radios you stick in your ears. They put them in your watches. They got little teeny gremlins for the watches.
I don't think it's such a good idea that you drive. Why don't you walk home?
You know, Katie, I think maybe I'll walk home.
So after Mr. Futterman walks home, our lead and his love interest walking home, and we get a little bit more insight on Katie and what she thinks of the holidays. And Katie's view of the holidays isn't a great one, and it seems like she's got some trauma to unpack.
While everybody else is opening up their presents, they're opening up their wrists.
Cheery thought.
It's true. The suicide rate's always the highest around the holidays.
Which is very true. The unalive rate in the holidays definitely goes up. It's a tragedy. Keep in mind, mental health is very important. Reach out to people during these trying times. So after walking her home and some cute flirting, trying to ask for a second date, we cut to the science teacher who's experimenting on one of the mogwai.
Big guy like you, come on.
Billy, now in his room drawing and eating snacks, is distracted by the mogwai going wild in the box next to them, simply seeming to be insatiably hungry. So Billy, being aware of the 3 only rules he has, checks his time and sees that it's not before 12 and decides it's okay to give them another snack.
Maybe you guys would be quiet.
They begin to tear into the food in a monstrous way as if they've never eaten before. And there's something about this feeding that just seems off. We cut to the doctor in the lab, and we can see in his clock that the time is actually way past 12 o'clock. He actually winds up leaving a sandwich near the cage, allowing the gremlin in his possession to also eat some food after 12. We cut to the morning where we find a bunch of pods lying around Billy's room. Billy, talking to his mother about it, explains to her that there's no possible way that he could have done anything wrong because he checked his time. After noticing something, he runs over to his clock to realize that the clock has been ripped out of the wall. We cut to the science lab where we find the same thing has happened to the mogwai staying there. The science teacher determined that this was a pupal state and that the mogwai must be going through a metamorphosis of some sort. We head to the bank where Mrs. Deagle is cutting the line again to get to the front so she can get her services taken care of and also threaten our main character's dog.
Where's that psychotic canine of yours?
I'm afraid he's on vacation.
You'd better keep him behind locked doors, because if I catch him, he's in for slow death.
So I don't want to spoil too much, but she gets exactly what she deserves. We cut back to the school where the teacher is giving a lesson where he realizes that the pod is starting to hatch. And the same thing is happening at Billy's house. As the pods are hatching, the teacher calls Billy to let him know that it's going down.
I'll be right there.
Getting off the phone, he goes back to the lab to search for the newly hatched creature. After searching around for a bit, he determined it was under a desk, and he pulls out a candy bar in order to persuade it to come out.
Come on out, take a bite. Let me see you. I just wanna see you.
Now, you can't tell me that doesn't sound creepy.
Now, I know you got to be hungry.
Now, I'm not quite sure how to feel about this scene, because first off, the black dude dies first in the movie. I mean, I know it's 1984, but goddamn. Secondly, why would you stick your hand under there with some unknown creature? You don't even know what it looks like. You didn't even know quite what it was before it changed. What would possess you to do that? So Billy, who was on his way to the school from the call, finds Mr. Hansen in the lab dead with a syringe in his butt. Was this black guy in this movie stupid? Yes. Did he deserve to be face down, ass up with a syringe in his butt? No. Attempting to call 911, Billy goes for the phone only to be grabbed by a gremlin's hand. After staring at it for a bit and then watching it run away through the vents, Billy decides he has to get the hell out of this school. But not before a trip to the nurse's office, because it looks like Billy's hand got a little injured from that contact. We get to see the newly evolved Gremlins for the first time as it pops out of the cabinet and scares our main character, before quickly scurrying off through the vents. We cut to the mom home alone in the house as she hears noises coming from the attic, which must be the pods, as a terrifiably small and outnumbered Gizmo gets tortured by his brothers or children. The mom, taking no chances, immediately goes for the kitchen knife that she has on hand, heading upstairs to investigate the noise. She gets upstairs to find Pods smoking. Sitting stuck and confused, she hears the phone ring, immediately answering.
Yes, Billy, are you okay? Where are you?
It's Billy, and he's trying to explain to his mother everything that's going on. But before Billy could say much of anything, the phone gets ripped out. Cue the Christmas music. Oh, I hear it. It sounds like shit just got real. Billy starts rushing home, fearing the worst. Wow, what comes next for Mom is what can only be known as the kitchen scene. So we see the Gremlins in the kitchen doing whatever they want, eating Mom's cookies that she just baked. And Mom's, she plays no games. She gets straight to business. First thing she does is say, "Let me cook," by pushing the button on the mixer. Right after that, we going right back to medieval times, because she goes sword and shield on these Gremlins. Refusing to be backed down, Mom pushes her way all the way up to the gremlin and then goes for the kill. So the thing is, I'm not really sure if I can show like the impact on YouTube, so I didn't. And if you really want to see it, I mean, gotta see the movie. But other than that, here's the rest of it. After going American Psycho and 2 Gremlins, she turns around to face a third with some spray, backing him down into a microwave. A gruesome kill comes, but again, I don't know if it's YouTube safe. Don't you think I want to show it? So the mother starts making her way to the living room, because now she's paranoid and she's looking for gremlins to kill. She sees something moving in a stocking and she goes to attack it, but it's nothing but a moving toy. We later come to find out that there was a gremlin hiding in the Christmas tree. Now the mom is fighting for her life here, like fighting for her life, but I always found this part so funny because it looks like she's fighting the Christmas tree. It looks like Billy's racing towards the house trying to save his mom, but it might be too late for her because she did take out a lot of gremlins and he looks pretty mad. But Billy gets there just in the nick of time to save his mom, pulling down the sword on the wall and beheading the gremlin, sending his head flying into the fireplace. We then see Stripe sitting in the window looking very upset at what he's seen here at the massacre of his people, and breaks the window and takes off into the night. After bringing the mother to a neighbor's house, Billy goes back to the house to try to find Gizmo.
Giz?
Finding him in a laundry chute, Gizmo seems to be unfazed and unharmed. Billy and Gizmo go outside to try to look for Stripe. After finding a trail of footprints, Billy begins to follow it, leading him straight to his local YMCA. Billy breaks into the building, but before long there's an alarm going off. Noticing a panel on the wall, he turns to it before Stripe pops out, knocking him to the ground. And Stripe wastes no time attacking Billy. Seeing his opportunity, Stripe leaps into the pool of the YMCA, causing it to erupt. Billy runs to the police station trying to warn them of the impending doom of the Gremlins.
Gremlins, huh?
But the police officers hardly believe his
Father
story.
always give you vicious little monsters for a present?
With the Gremlins on the move, it wasn't long before they found their first victim to terrorize, Mr. Futterman, the man scared to death of Gremlins. Being clever creatures, the Gremlins steal Mr. Futterman's tractor and almost run him over with it, before plowing it right into the house, nearly killing him and his wife.
Oh, hello, Anderson. You want to mail something, do you?
Yeah, just a last-minute package, Father.
Yeah, be my guest.
Stranger.
Can we just see that dude's face again? Nah, bro. Back at the police station, they finally start getting calls from the townsfolk.
What? Oh, no. Yeah, sure. We'll be right over.
They continue to terrorize the town and eventually arrive at Deagle Real Estate, home of the queen bitch herself, Mrs. Deagle.
Christmas carolers. I hate Christmas carolers. Screechy boys, little blue sniffers.
The things people would say to people back in the day is crazy. Like, how you calling people a glue sniffer? Like, they're probably children.
I warned you, Brand.
Having the place surrounded, the Gremlins were already inside and started messing with her lift chair for the staircase. Not suspecting anything was wrong, and in a panic, she just hops in the chair hastily, and it starts to malfunction. Sending her up the stairs and out the window, getting her just desserts. You know, you really gotta love when they build a character up just to kill him. When the hate is real. They make that character so easily hated that when their demise comes, like, the crowd, the whole crowd.
My God, Fry. That was Mrs. Deagle.
Can't have a Christmas movie without another appearance from Santa.
Jesus, Frank, that's Dave Myers. He does Santa every year. Frank, please.
And we get to see how Corey Feldman's character is handling the Gremlin outbreak. So I watched this with my roommate and she was like, shouldn't he have got electrocuted when he cut that? And I was like, yeah, maybe. It wasn't LEDs, you know, so yeah, he could have, but it was quick, so I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Chaos continues all over the city, while Billy, trying to make his way to the car, finally has a stroke of good luck and the car begins to start. So Billy takes off into the night as he hears more going-ons on the radio about what's happening in the town.
There's these little gringos
We cut to Dory's Tavern where we find Katie stuck in the bar serving the Gremlins as they're tearing up the entire establishment. Seems like the Gremlins like to drink, smoke, and one even flashes Katie. The Gremlins are throwing an all-out party, playing cards, spinning on the ceiling fans, not giving a general fuck, until Katie, trying to light a match for one of the Gremlins, realizes that they're afraid of bright lights. Taking advantage of that, she starts taking pictures of all of the Gremlins in order to disorientate them. There's even a masked gremlin that pulls a gun. But luckily, Billy pulls up just in the nick of time, flashing his brights, saving her from the gremlin. Just as it would seem he completed his rescue mission, he gets back in the car to find out it no longer wants to start.
What's wrong? Why is the car starting?
You see, I never understood this part. He left the car running. He literally ran inside for not even 3 seconds, and he gets back outside and the car's not running anymore. I have to chuck it up to this dude has bad luck. Why do bad things happen to him? And why did the car even start in the first place? Is Gizmo good luck? Running for their lives, they see the chaos ensuing around them. They head for the bank, where we get an explanation of everything that's wrong with Katie. Now, I gotta tell you, for a Christmas movie, this is pretty heavy.
Now I have another reason to hate Christmas.
See, what are you talking about?
The worst thing that ever happened to me was on Christmas. God, it was so horrible. It was Christmas Eve, waiting for Dad to come home from work. A couple hours went by. Dad wasn't home. Christmas Day came and went, and still nothing. 4 or 5 days went by. Everything was falling apart. The house was freezing, so I went to try to light up the fire, and that's when I noticed the smell. And me and Mom were expecting them to pull out a dead cat or a bird. And instead, they pulled out my father. He was dressed in a Santa Claus suit. He'd been climbing down the chimney on Christmas Eve, his arms loaded with presents. And that's how I found out there was no Santa Claus.
In all of Christmasdom, I've never in my life heard such a tragedy. There's Christmas Day fires, there's a lot of bad things that can go wrong on Christmas. That takes the cake, bro. That is the most tragic Christmas story I've ever heard. Caught me off guard dramatically, and it definitely solidifies the fact that this is a Christmas movie. After that tragic backstory, they leave the bank and start strolling through the town to see that the Gremlins are nowhere to be found. Heading towards the movie theater at the end of town, only to find that every single Gremlin was in attendance.
They're inside. All of them.
The Gremlins, having a great time watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, get completely turned when the dwarves start singing about saying hello to promiscuous women. I don't know if it's because the dwarves are short or because it was the only thing playing in the theater, but they are watching this movie.
And they love it.
Thinking on their feet, they decide to head to the boiler room, and we see Stripe noticing something outside. Billy, pulling a valve, releasing gas, has a plan to blow up the whole movie theater with all the Gremlins inside.
Billy?
Going back the way they came to avoid the impending explosion, they're noticed by the Gremlins on the back end of the movie theater screen. The Gremlins begin to chase them down the halls into the back door where they escape. Billy runs off, leaving me to believe he left her to die. Only to return a second later with a piece of wood to help block the door. They run as fast as they can, getting as much distance from the movie theater before it explodes, taking all of the Gremlins with it. All except for Stripe, who had went across the street to get some candy. Noticing Stripe in a department store window,
Billy, in the department store.
They head over to the candy store immediately, break a window that didn't need to be broken, and go inside and look for Stripe. After looking around for a bit, he gives Gizmo to Katie and tells her to find a light switch.
Try and find some kind of light switch.
Gives her a kiss and goes out on his own.
Billy.
Walking around the department store, he sees Stripe on the TV and gets scared and swings at it. With Katie getting to the control room and them playing a game of cat and mouse, we see Stripe find something that interests him. Getting on the offensive, Stripe starts throwing saw blades at him, and we get what I believe is the inspiration for the Saw movies. Stripe starts firing baseballs at him next from a baseball cannon, But the sun is coming up soon. Stripe, never being one to mess around with, shoots Billy right in his arm with a crossbow. But before Stripe could finish Billy off, Katie starts flipping all of the power breakers and is able to cut on the lights. We see Gizmo in a little pink RC car trying to help. Stripe then makes his way to the fountain in order to do what he did in the pool and bring back his entire family. He puts his finger in the fountain, and then the whole climax of the movie happens. Nothing pops out of his bed. Maybe because he's in that gremlin state. Maybe it takes a little longer, because in that baby or mogwai state, you just a drop and it goes crazy. But for some reason, finger in fountain, and we get a whole climax of a movie. Gizmo drives in on his little pink RC car, uses a shovel to launch himself, has a standoff with Stripe before reaching for something, pulling it, and revealing the sun. The father gets there just in time to see Stripe being killed by the sunlight, with him falling in the water and ultimately coming back out for one last jump scare. We cut to them at home in the living room watching the events on the news.
On Christmas Eve, the bizarre demise of Mrs. Ruby Deagle.
And that's the end of the movie. The old man comes, he tells them that they're pieces of shit and they can't take care of Mogwai. He takes it, they say goodbye, and we roll credit. But not before we end the movie with a Christmas staple, a narrator.
Well, that's the story. So if your air conditioner goes on the fritz, or your washing machine blows up, or your video recorder conks out, before you call the repairman, turn on all the lights, check all the closets and cupboards, look under all the beds. Because you never can tell. There just might be a gremlin in your house.
So this is, without a doubt, 100% a Christmas movie. And the lesson learned is, don't get last minute gifts from dudes in basements that didn't really even want to sell it to you. And if you do get that gift, don't give it to your son because he's probably not responsible enough to take care of it. Merry Christmas.